I started training. Well, I've been a martial artist my whole life. I started training martial arts when I was a teenager in the 1980s. And when I started training jiu-jitsu in like 99, I think, I was already aware of what jiu-jitsu was. I watched UFC 1 like in 93. So I was aware of the Gracies. I was aware of what Brazilian jiu-jitsu was. Just in 1993, there was nowhere to train. I was living in Europe at the time, which made it even worse. And you know, it's pre-internet, of course. So just trying to find anything on like VHS tape or find anybody in the military that knew anything, you know, over those years. And then I wound up getting out of the Army in 98 and moved to Boulder, Colorado in 98, where Amal Easton had just moved back from Brazil and opened up his academy. And around 99, I started training with him. They were open for about a year at the time, I think I started training. And at that time, I was already training and competing in boxing and kickboxing for like 15 years already. So I had like a really good striking background. And I was actively boxing at the time when I started training jiu-jitsu, actually. And when I started training jiu-jitsu, it was like a whole nother world, man. It was like crazy. And I thought that I had a good idea of what was going on, because from 93 to 99, I was trying to like teach myself. And like I thought, I was one of those guys who thought they were good because you was learning yourself. And man, I walked into that gym and it was like a whole nother world. And as soon as I did it, I was like, man, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. But as I got older, so like I was 30 when I started training jiu-jitsu. So I wasn't never going to be world champion, you know, as a 20-year-old for sure. But I was still fit and in shape, you know, and was competing a lot back then. So as I've gotten older, I think that the most common thing is just you kind of reestablish the basics. You just relearn, just reinvent the basics, basically. I always like to learn new things. I've learned so much since I've been here in Fargo with all of the students here, and guys have, you know, my coaches now they've taken the ball and they run with it. They do stuff so much better than I do. And I'm always learning stuff from them. They keep up with the new stuff that's happening a lot better than I do. And yeah, as I've gotten older, I have to reinvent the basics, but especially 3 years ago, for anybody who doesn't know, 3 years ago I had a emergency aortic aneurysm. I had an open heart surgery where my artery basically exploded. I had to have an artificial artery put in. So big open heart, terrible surgery to recover from. So since that has happened for the last 3 years, it's been a complete reinvention of jiu-jitsu again, because I'm a big, strong guy, always had a real big, strong guy kind of game, super aggressive. And now I can't put that kind of energy into training like on a regular basis. So I have to be able to do things technically correct, the way they've always should have been done anyway, to be honest with you. So like really learning to let technique take the place of the strength and be able to move more efficiently. And you know, I get tired faster now, so you have to move more efficiently. And you know, all those things add up to just being more efficient with your jiu-jitsu. And the funny thing about it is it teaches you how to do it the way it always should have been, I guess. You know, like there's an old saying, I think Rickson Gracie said, he's like, jiu-jitsu is perfect, it's people that are flawed, right? So people will make those mistakes, but as they learn them, the true spirit of the jiu-jitsu comes out eventually. And I feel like, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm the best I've ever been right now, as far as knowledge-wise and technique-wise. And it's just strange. I think that like everybody will always feel like that as they progress, you know? It's cool. Good question. Really good question. I could probably talk an hour about it.